Hi, everyone, and welcome to EPIC 2020. EPIC, or the End Poverty Innovation Challenge, is a production of the nonprofit Social Ventures Foundation. Our mission is to facilitate sustainable markets at the base of the pyramid by facilitating the development of social ventures that employ the poor to deliver social impact to the poor at a price the poor can afford. EPIC's mission is to engage the next generation of social entrepreneurs from colleges and universities around the world to develop the next generation of social ventures that provide sustainable solutions to the challenges that the poor face in agriculture, food, nutrition, transport, health, housing, education, and much more. We received applications from social venture teams from universities and colleges from around the world, including Kenya, Guatemala, United States, South Africa, Zambia, India, Nepal, Honduras, El Salvador, Hong Kong, Colombia, and more. Today, we have selected the top 8, and we'll put their case presentations to our judges. First, though, I want to thank our sponsors and partners, Never Ends Productions, Go Parody, One Young World, The Joint, Stage 6, Entrepreneurs Future Network, WSV Ventures, the Social Sector Task Force of the International Franchise Association, and the Rosenberg School of International Franchising for being there for us. I also want to thank our judges for offering their time to judge an amazing group of social ventures that span the spectrum from ideation to prototype and small-scale commercialization. So first, our judges. Ruan Miron is a past portfolio manager of Leopard Capital, a bottom of the pyramid investment fund, and currently he is portfolio manager of impact investments at MassMutual. Julie McBride is founder and CEO of Stage 6, an innovative social franchising company. Mike Debelak is executive director at Inclusive Business Sweden, an investment organization that invests in bottom of the pyramid social ventures. I want to thank our team, Haley, Christy, Patty, Ryan, and all the other interns who have contributed to making this event what it is. We collectively are the change makers that will facilitate a new paradigm for poverty reduction, one that will facilitate a bottom-up approach that will engage social entrepreneurs from around the world in providing sustainable solutions to the myriad of challenges, a world of difference. And now I would like to introduce Haley Burns, our college relationship manager and assistant executive producer for EPIC, to introduce our finalists. Haley.
Okay, hey everyone, how are you today? You can't answer because you're all muted, but my name is Haley Burns and I am the University Relations Manager of the Social Ventures Foundation. So over the past several months, I have been in communication with some of you know me, but some of you don't, but I am really happy to have you all here and we are going to have a great competition. So for the top 8 teams I will be announcing, you're going to go in this order. So I'm just going to go. So in the top 8 for the Epic 2020 final round, the teams that have made it to the top from a big selection of some really incredible applications that we have gotten really from all over the world are number 1, just in this order, this is the order you're going in, Espati. Number 2 from Guatemala. Number 2, Girls Money Savvy from South Africa. Number 3, Green Taylor from Hong Kong. Number 4, Musa from Italy. Number 5, NutraSweet from Hawaii. Number 6, Sovenga Wines from South Africa. Number 7, Tierra Grata. And number 8, Vegan Authentic Farm. So that is our top 8, and we're going to start with Espati. So Doug, please cue the video, and then you guys will have about 5 minutes after to answer judges Q&A.
Productos nacionales que con mucho fines estamos acostumbrados a consumir, ves una necesidad de buscar tiendas en redes sociales o físicas, las cuales no suelen contar con un horario flexible, tienden a trasladarse o incluso desaparecer, nos dan razones para ofrecerte algo a ti. Espati busca brindarte una manera sencilla y de rápido acceso a una variedad de productos de origen nacional, los cuales te garantizamos cumplirán con tus expectativas, con productos elaborados por campesinos y obreros guatemaltecos. No deseamos únicamente brindarte una tienda en línea, nos queremos comprometer a ayudar a cada emprendedor que tenga el deseo de dar a conocer su producto, brindándole el acceso a una plataforma de venta donde podrá elegir llegar a las casas de los guatemaltecos o a una empresa en específico. Encontrarás un servicio confiable y justo, con la atención que todo guatemalteco merece. Un mercado digital guatemalteco en espati.com. Lo que es para ti, es para ti.
Very good. I'd like to ask the team to come on here if we could. I appreciate that. And based upon that, can we have that team come up? Haley, if you can bring them up, please.
Yep, so everyone, team, if you guys could unmute, and judges, if you guys could unmute, we will have judges Q&A now.
Espati, I'm still not looking at Espati on the screen. If we could get that, I'd appreciate it. And I'm going to ask Doug, our music and producer here, if we could get the music to be less scratchy. I'd appreciate it. We're getting a lot of scratchiness in that sound, and I appreciate you troubleshooting that so that we get really good sound coming forward here on our videos. Carlos, welcome. How are you? Carlos, can you hear me all right?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Okay, I got to have a smile behind you. You have a beautiful background there. Can you tell us what that background is?
The background is a touristic place of Guatemala called Petén.
And what is that? And what does that stand for? Is that obviously it's a historical site, is it not?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Gabriel. I'm part of
Gabriel.
the team. Yeah. So yeah, actually, it has a very good historical background because there was like where the Mayans lived like thousands of years ago, you know, and there was when they were a big civilization here in America, a civilization that was part of Mexico and part of Central America. Yeah.
Very good, very good. And your team, you're associated with a college there. How many people are on your team, and what's the name of your college?
We are at Universidad Rafael Andívar, and we are just Carlos and me.
Very good. Okay, wonderful. Well, I'd like to ask our judges to feel free here and hop on and ask some questions of this team. Perhaps we'll start with Rowan. Rowan, do you have a question? And you can unmute.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, Mark.
Okay, Mike, I'll put it over to you. Mike or Julie, do you have questions?
Okay, I just would like some clarification. I
Sure.
basically understand that it's a kind of a buy sell platform for, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a buy sell platform for sort of Guatemalan made goods for Guatemalan customers. I guess I would like to understand a little bit more what makes it unique. Why would people want to use it? I mean, I'm sure there are other buy and sell platforms out there. So what makes it unique, or what's it specifically targeting?
Okay. Maybe I will answer this question, then Carlos could answer the next one. We know that maybe we are not the first marketplace. We want to be a marketplace in Guatemala, but we want to be that marketplace that could bring digital tools to craftsmen and merchants and small businesses here in Guatemala. Because craftsmen here in Guatemala, they have the products, they have the passion, they have the quality to bring this kind of products, handmade products that they made. Like this T-shirt that I have is handmade by Mayan people here in Guatemala, so they can get this type of goods into the national market and international market, because we have a business plan that is about for 5 years, and in the 4th year we want to sell cross-border. I mean, to sell these products in the US, in Europe, and China, So we want to bring these tools to these craftsmen that doesn't have like the opportunities to get into, because here in Guatemala it's very expensive to build a marketplace just by one store. And people here in Guatemala, craftsmen especially, artisans, they live with $3 a day. So we want to give this opportunity to them enter to the digital market. And in Guatemala, this market is valued around like $243 million. Yeah.
Very
Also,
good, Gabe. Go ahead, Mike.
Also, we want to extend the channels of the small businesses, because, for example, when the pandemic crashes, the only channel that they have to sell their products was in their locals or in the streets. So we want to extend and give them the opportunity to sell online, because in Guatemala, most of the marketplaces focus on technology and home appliances.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Gabriel.
Oh, no, yeah, just like to complement our solution, it goes to have a very efficient customer services, payments on time for the craftsmen, online security, and generate incomes 100% profit for craftsmen.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to now move on, and I want to thank you and this team for answering those questions. Unless there are any other questions from the judges, I'm going to ask that the judges now complete their judging of this very first venture. And while that judging is going on, I'm going to ask that we play a little bit of music here related. Actually, you know what? I tell you what. While the judgings are going on, I tell you what. Let's ask a little bit of Gabriel here. Gabriel, the judges are going to be judging you right now while we're talking. Can you give us a little more understanding of the background there of the Mayan culture, if you would? I think that would be very interesting to people.
Okay, yeah. Actually, here in Guatemala, we have 22 different languages, Mayan languages, and also the 67% of the population is indigenous, are Mayan, and also the 72% of Guatemalans live in poverty. So that's like the macroeconomic background of Guatemala. Also, I think that Guatemala has a very big culture, because we have different kind of types of Mayan, because we have the Cachiqueles, the Mams, the Ixil, the Sutujil. So, I mean, merging all this culture and export and show to all our country the culture that we are rich is so amazing because you can like when you are into a community they have so amazing things they do all by hand they do the things like with that passion because they said man, I learned this because my mom teach me because it's a culture that I made with my ancestors made and a long time ago. So you know that's that's what Guatemala. I fell in love in Guatemala. I am Guatemalan, and I wanna people in Guatemala fall in love with our culture because we are rich in culture. That's why I love to work with communities also.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think our judges are ready. Haley, I'm just looking for your thumbs up here on the on our WhatsApp, but I'll assume that the judges are finished. Is that correct, Haley?
We need about 30 more seconds.
30 more seconds. Okay. Let me go back then. If I could ask another question from our team there. Might you tell me a little bit about your university very briefly?
Okay. Yeah, my university, Universidad Rafael Andivo, were the first private university in Guatemala. And also, what I love of my university, actually, I'm a student of economics, it's a social science, if you want to see it like that. Um, it was, it's like, I don't know how to say it, but they really know how to match the social with the private. Uh, Meaning so when I have a lot of courses in my university that is called CFAs, that is like personal growing to connect with society and social meaning. So that's like my university first top things because they are that kind of university that they always are like you need to if you want to make a business the main thing that you are creating that business is because you are giving jobs. You don't need to think about profits. You don't need to think about the finance. No, you need to think that you are gonna bring jobs, and then the finance and the profit will are going to be uh, about time. So that's why I love my university also.
That's wonderful. I really appreciate that feedback, Gabriel. I can't say enough here about universities that are committed to at least initiate a social entrepreneurship program, one that can engage their students in looking at the challenges of the poor around their areas, their actual communities, and then come back and actually come up with ideas for solutions to those problems. This again is the mission of the Social Ventures Foundation, and we thank you so much for continuing your work. Even if you don't win, what you're doing is wonderful, and we very much appreciate the passion you're bringing to the table here. Thank you so much. I'm now going to ask Haley to introduce our next team. Haley.
Okay, so our next team is Girls Money Savvy, and that is Paul from Zambia, and he is part of Southampton Solent University. So we are going to play your video, Paul.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity.
Everybody, I am Mutsidisi Mohono, and today I will be speaking with Sport Aid Development Trust founder and executive director Paul Zulu. He's working on a project called Girl.
Hey, Doug, I just muted you by accident.
It's all about making sure the girls know how to run their money and they also have life skills that will carry them forward into the many, many years that they will live. Firstly, congratulations, Paul, one of the Beyond Sport Collective Impact Award on Gender Equality. Tell us a little bit about this project, how you're incorporating sport into teaching financial literacy and how you think this creates parity as far as gender equality is concerned.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank Beyond Sport for the opportunity. How we're using sport to teach about financial literacy and entrepreneurship. We all know that sport has got power to bring vulnerable children from different backgrounds at one place. So we're using the concept called education through sport. we are using football to bring the girls at one place, and we are also using what we call football rings, so that the girls are participating, they're also learning. So we decided that, okay, this can be an innovation that we can use to empower girls with financial literacy. Girls' participation in sport has developed the girl in different ways. Enables the girls to discover themselves, develop their self-image, their self-confidence. Once self-image, self-confidence is developed, they're able to apply themselves positively in different spheres of life. They're able to participate in leadership, for example. The girl also gets a lot of benefits from involving in sport, particularly the sport that we're doing at Sport Ed Development, where we integrate education in sport. There's this stereotype in Zambia, in Sub-Saharan Africa, where certain things are assumed that are just for the boys. But once the self-confidence is built in a girl, the girl will be able to do the things that the boys are doing. By so doing, we are achieving gender equality. The first thing that we do, we first identify the girls that we train as peer leaders. The other concept that we're using beside the education through sport is the peer-to-peer communication or peer leadership. So we empower a set of girls with information on financial literacy. These girls, they form a structure at the school and community level. We call it peer leadership action group. This group is the one that delivers the financial literacy life skills during the sessions. You get different topics, budgeting, for example, planning, marketing, on simple income and expenditure, and the importance of saving. Because the most important part of the whole process is to teach the girls how to save. Because saving is the good principle. If you don't save, you can't accumulate wealth. But what do they save the money from? It's another question. It's where the component of entrepreneurship comes in. Because once they've learned about financial literacy, school that they've got the knowledge, but how are they going to apply that knowledge they've learned? They have to put it into practice by having a small business. From that small business, they generate profit. Where do they take that profit? They have to save it. When they save that money, where does that saving go to? Of course, girls they've got needs. One of the things that makes the girl to drop out of school is when they are in the menstruation period. They can't stay in school, they have to be at home because they don't have sanitary pads. So the profit that they make, they have to buy sanitary pads. Some of them they're not to school, not because they don't want to be in school, but because that person can't pay school fees. So the profits that they make, they're able to save up to pay for their school fees. Gender equality is being achieved by if once the girl is empowered, if the girl can negotiate whatever she wants. It means that whatever the boy can do, she can do. She can demand to go to school because she's got money to pay for her school.
Okay, so now we're going to do some questions from the judges and Paul. So Julie, Mike, and Real One, I'm going to ask you to jump in when you're ready.
Yeah, my question is what's the revenue model of this? I think it's a great platform to educate girls through sport and so forth, but how is this going to make money?
Okay, that's a very good question. There's that three components in Girls Money Savvy. The first component is financial literacy, where we teach the girls about financial literacy. The second component is we teach them on entrepreneurship, how they can do small businesses. And the third part, having learned financial literacy, they have to put what they've learned into practice. So we give them what we call revolving fund. This revolving fund is a startup capital, which they have to put into their business to generate some profit. So we give them a capital of about $200,000 per girl. Then the girl invests that 200. Then she generates some profits. Then when paying back, she pays back with 20% profit. So how we are generating income out of it is the 20% that the girl, they pay back after the period of 3 months. So after 3 months, they have to pay back that 200 plus 20%. So when they pay back that 220%, that money, we don't use it as our profit, but we reinvest it into the project. We give it to another girl to use it as a startup capital. So by so doing, we are growing the capital. For example, if we start with $1,000 US per quarter, it means that after one quarter, we should be able to make about $1,200 That $1,200 would help us to empower another girl. So we use the profits to multiply the capital that we have to grow it so that we're able to empower as many girls as possible. So this is how we generate income. But when we generate income, we don't use it for ourselves. We inject it into the business as a startup capital to empower many more other girls. So this is how the model works.
Okay.
Can I just ask a follow-up question on that? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So you're saying your revenue model is in fact a type of kind of like interest on, I mean, not quite an interest, but some sort of interest on the amount
Yes.
you're lending in or investing.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking, you know, it's quite, if you say there's sort of 20% on that, it actually is quite a significant, would be the equivalent of quite a significant interest rate. And I'm also wondering, like, related to these girls, what are they investing in? And then are they really able to pay that back in that sort of short time frame? Just wondering how that whole works, because if they were very young girls, you know, they may not be able to make a return to cover that payment.
Yes. I'll start with the age group of these girls. We are targeting the two kinds of girls: the girls that are in the cities like Lusaka, where I'm staying, the girls that are in the rural parts of the country. You could find that the girls in the city, like where I am in Lusaka, they finish their high school at about 18 years old. And then the girls who are in the rural areas, they finish their schools at 25 years old. When you look at this age group, they're able to make some kind of decisions. When you look at the capital, the money that we're injecting in, about $200, $200 is equivalent to about 5,000 kwacha, Zambian kwacha. That money is not to be very big for the girls. It's the money that they can actually manage to use and also to be able to pay back. So the model that we're using to pay back that 200, we don't wait for them to reach the third month to start paying back. So we encourage them to start up a business where it generates profits almost on a weekly basis, for example. So that when they generate that profit, they start paying up bit by bit every day or every week, depending on how they're making that profit. So what we do, we sit down with them, we come up with a plan to look at the business, how it's going to be generating profits. Then we come up with a paying schedule depending on how the business will be able to pay back to generate profits. So we do it in the way that is manageable for the girls. Or for example, if the girl has borrowed 200, or if we've given the girl 200, we have to divide that 200 by 90 days, which means she'll be able to pay back almost on a daily basis about $2 to $3 per day, depending on the business that they're doing. Because there's some business where they can make profit of more than $5 per day. So if they can save from $5, they save $2, then they pay back $2. They'll be able to increase on their capital and also pay back. But by the moment they're reaching to the 90 days or the third month, they will have paid up a huge sum of money, and they won't be able to feel the impact because they're not paying the money all at once. They're paying for that money bit by bit, so that they don't feel actually the pinch of paying back, because the way we've structured it in such a way that it enables the girl to pay back and not feel the pinch of paying back at the end of the period. So it's very manageable because we've done it and girls are paying back. And you've seen some of the girls actually graduating from the program and becoming mentors to other girls. So this is the project that is doable, and you've seen it happening. So I can guarantee you that girls are able to pay back because of how we've structured the paying back system.
Very good, Paul. Thank you so much. Is there any more questions from the judges? And if not, we're going to head right into. Go ahead.
I have a quick question.
Sure, Julie.
So what is,
Julie.
are you able to recover through interest payments? Are you able to recover your costs of goods? The amount you require that you spend, that you invest personally in each girl?
Yes. Okay, to be honest, in every business there are challenges. So we are dealing with girls from very vulnerable background. And we have to take this into cognizance that the main objective why we're doing what we're doing is to empower these girls so that they improve their lives and they're able to become financially independent. But in the process of making them become financially independent, they go through lots of pitfalls. And we are very cognizant of that. But you could find that some girls, they're able to pay back the 20%. Some girls, they don't meet that 20% margin. They only pay maybe 5% interest out of the money. But that 5%, if they pay back 5%, for us, it's okay, provided they're able to make their own capital from our capital to start doing their own stuff. Then that 5%, even if it's more, we are able to gather from other girls that have paid up very well to come up with something that we can still be able to empower other girls. So we've got challenges, but we have to cushion those challenges by those people, by those other girls that are paying up very, very well. So this is how we're cushioning up some of the losses that we're making from other girls.
Very good, Paul. Paul, I'm going to ask now that the judges start to fill out their judging, and I'm going to ask you a few questions, if I may. My understanding, are you from Zambia or from South Africa?
Zambia. I'm from Zambia.
Zambia.
Yes.
Well, do you know KK?
He's my former president, the first president of Zambia, KK.
Well, I just want to let you know I have met KK, and I've been at his house. He's quite a gentleman. Yeah, I should mention. Yeah, I should mention that Zambia really is one of the first African nations that there was a peaceful transfer of power from one president to another, and that's
exactly
that's an amazing thing. So I certainly think you should be proud of your nation for that. Can you tell us a little bit? Yeah, no worries. Can you tell us a little bit more about the poverty in your nation and what that's like to share it with people who may not know about Zambia?
Yeah. You know, Zambia is in the central part of Africa. It's got about 8 neighbors around it. Some of the neighbors, you might know them, there's Zimbabwe, there's Botswana, Malawi, Tanzania, Angola, and Congo, the DRC. And Zambia is one of the most poor, the most impoverished nations in Africa. Right now, Zambia is heavily indebted. I think is struggling to pay the debts right now to IMF and these other people who are lending us money. So you could find that because of that, government, instead of taking the money to where it's needed, they're busy paying up debts to other nations that are borrowing us money. So you could find that this one is impacting a lot on the women, particularly because the women are the ones who are feeling the pinch, because these are the people that are looking after children, who are taking the children to school and all that. Now you could find that they can't take the children back to school because they can't make money. The industry has gone down, and yes, the inflation rate is just too high, and economic system in Zambia is actually pathetic and stuff like that. So you could find that the poverty levels, they keep on going up and up. Actually, that's the main reason why we came up with the Girls Money Service, so that we're able to cushion those girls that are going through such challenges because of the economic issues. For your own information, even because of the COVID-19 has even worsened the situation. You could find that most of the companies have closed up. You could find that those parents who are depending on business, their businesses have closed up. So most of the girls might not go back to school because their parents won't be able to pay for their school fees. So from the Girls Money Saving, for example, is where we are hoping that the girls who are in our program, they'll be able to generate some money and be able to pay for their own school fees for them to stay in school.
Very good.
So generally, this is how bad the economy of Zambia is as at now.
So it's fair to say that people in Zambia make between $1 and $3 a day. Would you say that's about average for a wage?
Actually, they're living under $2 per day.
Under $2 a day. Another question. I take it also that the women they don't have any refrigeration. Is that correct?
Exactly, because most of them, they don't use actually electricity. They use firewood for energy, for example. So if they're using firewood, and if some of those who are fortunate, especially in the rural parts of the country, they're using solar, and solar doesn't have enough energy to power the system in the house, so they cannot have the fridge. And if you want to buy the fridge that is powered by solar, it's very expensive. So most of the women, they can't afford that.
I totally understand that. In fact, the foundation is working on a technology for refrigeration for the poor, given that a poor woman has to constantly go out and shop, pay for a motor scooter to go out to a place to shop. She has to buy small quantities of food, which cost her more, and then bring them home and cook them, and then throw out anything that she doesn't use because she has no refrigeration. Yeah. And then, of course, she has to go out and get drinking water as well, right? Which is also a burden on women. All right, Paul, thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. And again, I just want to say how much I personally love Zambia, and I want to congratulate you on your social venture. And with that, I'd like Haley to introduce our next social venture. Thank you, Paul.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul, and a really, really, really awesome job. So we are going to move to our next finalist, which is Green Taylor. So this is Karina, Kelly, Alvin, and Nicole from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So they are up really late right now because it's very late for them in Hong Kong. But thank you guys for being on here, and we're gonna put your video on now.
Hi, my name is Monu, and this is my story. In the place I live, gender inequality is so common. My parents sent me to work at a garment factory far away from my hometown when I was small. The working environment was crowded, poorly ventilated, stuffy, and accidents sometimes occurred. Every worker was terrified. How much did I get finally? Only $200 per month, which can't even be used to rent a house near the factory. I want to make a change, yet I'm not well educated. What can I do? I love my home, you see. The view is awesome. Yet, now the river is polluted by the chemicals used to dye the fabric, and our land is overloaded by the unused cloth. What can we do? In face of this situation, we do not hesitate to give a helping hand. We, Green Taylor, aims at empowering female workers from textile factories. We're constantly aware of those underprivileged women and even other labor who suffer. And we always put green living at our forefront as we hope that our friends can live in a comfortable environment. Fast fashion, including the labor right and environmental issues, will always be our focus. We are a for-profit entity that we believe our venture can sustain itself healthily. So we've come up with a couple of ways to help the female garment workers. What can we do with those fabrics? A patchwork fashion show. We're going to collect the fabric wastes produced from fast fashion production and make them the key element of our patchwork design that is in minimalist style using not strongly dyed rag. Together with the designs offered by giant fashion brands, we will hire locals or celebrities as our models. After the fashion shows, we choose one of those significant and amazing designs each month to make it our product. When we and the companies earn profits, workshops are prepared to equip the workers with higher skills like designing knowledge or language skills, and factories are required to continue their responsibility to protect labor rights and improve the polluting system. Moreover, another main event is an online exchange of sewing skill and language skill. People from all around the world who speak English can pay to hire workers as their tutors. Through the process, our workers can not only earn more but also have the chance to practice the language. We believe women will be stronger through the process, and when they are more competitive, they can choose the way of living and speak for themselves. Please do support us and keep your eyes on the progress. In no far future, everyone will be proud to dress our product and care about the issue.
Okay, so awesome job, guys. Karina, Kelly, Nicole, and Alvin. I'm going to put it on the judges now to ask you guys some questions and do some Q&A.
Can we get them on the screen there, Kelly?
Yep, they're coming
Great.
on.
Yeah, it's evening time here in Sweden, so I'm just turning it off so you don't see my kids running around in the background.
That's all right. We're not proud. We love kids. Like, I think I've seen them before in our conversation.
Yeah.
So let them make a cameo experience there.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Do we have the Hong Kong team on there video wise? Let's get them on and then we get some questions here. And maybe they're asleep now. I hope not.
They just need to say something.
Yeah. Hi, guys on board?
Karina's on board.
Yep.
Oh, I can't see your face. Where are you? Still working on it. Give us a chance here. Get the folks on. No luck yet.
So was this company from Hong Kong?
It is.
Yeah.
And we are looking at where they are right now is, of course, well, it's not that late. It's 1 a.m. their time, approximately. So hopefully they'll be able to. Can you hear us, Hong Kong?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay. I just don't see your visual on here. Can you I'm not sure if your visual is. Can you make sure that we can see you?
I'm Kelly.
There you go. There we are, Kelly. Hi. How are you?
I am good.
Is it just yourself?
Thank
Is everyone else asleep?
Hi.
Oh, there we go. Okay, fine. Nice to see you again. How are you?
Good.
Okay, well, both of you. Is there anyone else from your team?
Yes.
Or just yeah. Okay.
Karina and Alvin.
Okay, great. Well, listen, we want to thank you all for staying up so late to join us here. And I'd like to then ask the judges here to ask some questions. Mike, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a short question and a longer question, or a question with a short answer and a longer answer. But I'll ask both. The short question is, where is the production based, in which country? I don't know if it was meant to be in Hong Kong or someone else. And the longer question is, how do you plan to compete in terms of marketing and get your products out there?
We first want to base our production and our promotion in Hong Kong first, and mainly probably we'll start it with within our university. So we make use of our networking inside the universities. I mean, different universities in Hong Kong, and then we try to promote the idea, and hopefully we hope to expand our work and our plan towards other countries as well, if it's succeeded in Hong Kong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you have another question, Mike?
It was a little bit more like the marketing approach. How do you sort of plan to market your products?
Okay. So first of all, as a university students, and then secondly, I think the internet and social platforms are a good way to help promote our products and our events, etc. And as we'll try to sell our products after the fashion shows, we'll also try to make use of the online shops to spread our news and spread our products. Yep, that's it.
Great. Do we have questions from
I have
other
a question
judges?
about the product development. I love the idea, and I love the I like the material idea. You know, you're creating patchwork designs from leftover materials. Can you talk a little bit about the actual like clothing designs, like what you're making with the material, how you're going to sort of come up with your brand identity, like how you're going to ensure quality designs and guide the tailors in making pieces that meet some certain standard that you want to be associated with with your brand?
Okay, thank you for the question. So first of all, before we try to produce and try to sell our products, we'll try to hold a competition of a designing competition within the universities. So we try to recruit participants and try to look for more designs. And through the competitions, there will be judges. So we'll try to choose the designs that that suits our standards, and then yes, so that's how we try to fit our standards. And then and about identity, when we're trying to sell the products and when we're trying to promote our firm on the internet, etc., and or through the fashion shows or competitions, we try to sell that we will try to help those in the third world as well as those female workers in Hong Kong factories or mainland factories near us, and we'll try to promote and emphasize that we are trying to use the recycled clothes or the leftover fabrics to have our designs.
Thank you.
Yep, that's all.
Thank you.
Great. Is that okay? Good. Any other questions?
No,
Yeah, Rowan.
nothing for me, Mark.
Okay, good. All right, great. There are not any other questions. We're going to put this to the judges. And if I could ask our panelists, I'm sorry, if I could just ask Kelly a little bit more about her university and your team. Could you tell us a bit more about university life, and we'll let the judges start judging, if you would. And then Haley will let me know when your judging is finished. Kelly, tell us a little bit about your university and how much is focused on social entrepreneurship, or is this something you folks have kind of embraced? How did you get into it?
Okay. We're from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So actually there are about 8 major universities in Hong Kong only, and we are the one of the top 3 universities in Hong Kong. So it's quite big, and there's actually quite a lot of people relative to other universities in Hong Kong. And about our university, about how we get into this competition and entrepreneurship. Actually, we usually have mass mails from our universities promoting different activities, etc., about entrepreneurships, innovations of technology, etc. And then we got the emails, and we actually had this idea. The idea of Green Tailor, the production. So we just give it a try and try to see if it works. And yeah, and we're trying to grab that opportunity from participating in different competitions, etc. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, very good. So in terms of other, so is there a social entrepreneurship program at your university per se, or is there a program dedicated to that?
Do you mean how we find the competition, or?
No, in terms of, is there an existing program that actually focuses on social entrepreneurship?
We haven't actually started our program yet, so it's still in the progress of preparation, planning, and trying to get more networking and support, etc. So
yeah, we do have entrepreneurship program in CUHK. Yeah, the school, our university over this program.
Oh, okay, great. All right. And have you folks traveled beyond Hong Kong at this point to look at some of the places where you may want to put your program in place?
Probably we'll first focus on the mainland China ones first, and then and after so then we may expand that to other third world countries like Cambodia.
Okay. Well, I think that this is a really interesting idea. Certainly, you're doing a couple of things. You're, number one, doing something that's environmentally sustainable by repurposing these discarded materials, right? And you're engaging the poor by giving them jobs to repurpose those materials. And you're coming out with some very creative artwork, as I would think it, right? In terms of the kinds of products that you're looking at doing. So I think this is all very positive. So I want to thank you very much, and thank you for participating. And we certainly hope that we can engage more teams there in Hong Kong and also in China itself. So we look forward to seeing you in the future. And I'm going to ask Haley, our judge is almost set here, Haley? Just waiting for a second. And while I guess we're still judging here, I'll just wait one more second. I apologize.
Yep, we are all good.
We're good. Okay. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much, Hong Kong, for participating here. And we look forward to seeing you in the future. And Haley, thank you so much. Okay. And Haley, I'm going to ask that you introduce our next team.
Okay. So up next, we have Musa. And that is Elena, Elisa, Daniel, and Rebecca and Giacomo from Politecnico di Milano. So you guys, we are going to play your video now.
Have you ever found yourself thinking that the problems of the world are way too many and that the only thing that will save us will be a nice reset button? Because really, our planet and our society are doomed to implode and perish, and there is no starting point to unravel the knot. Well, we have. And to the question, how would you end poverty? The only answer we found was by turning the economic system upside down. Of course, we're only 5 university students living on a budget, and we cannot reset the world, but we can try to insert a healthy, hopeful seed and assist it in a percolating global economy, yielding abundant fruits of change everywhere. I guess you're now asking yourself how? Well, with a banana. Actually, lots of bananas. Musa is a social enterprise conceived by the people, with the people, for the people, in order to generate change and foster the development of a different kind of entrepreneurial mentality among the disadvantaged communities of underdeveloped countries. This is our very simple business model. We buy some hectares of land. We hire people, granting them a fair paycheck and continuous training. We grow banana plants. The scientific name is Musa. See what we did there? We harvest. We bring leaves and fruits to our workshop. We do this in complete respect of the surrounding environment and biodiversity. And we transform this high-quality raw material into genuine products. We market them in rural areas at a very cheap price in our proprietary shops. But we also sell some higher-priced products to shops in the urban areas, targeting high-end customers. Thanks to cross-subsidization, we're able to afford the production and selling of our portfolio of banana-derived products and to provide the local community with essential commodities like bandages, nappies, sanitary pads, and soap at a very low price. But this is just the surface. The ace up the sleeve of Musa lies within its approach. We value the quality of life of people and their empowerment as our essential assets. We want to strengthen the relationships among the community members and the surrounding environment. Mainstream development is not the only option. We want to build an alternative together, hand in hand with local communities. An alternative that is circular, inclusive, frugal, and sustainable, whose net social, environmental, and economic impact is powerful and revolutionary. New innovative business models like ours can support disadvantaged communities to rise up and fight poverty by following a whole new different.
There is no more there is no more the audio of the video. Someone
Right,
muted.
we're having a problem here. Can you unmute that? We just had a technical problem, folks. I apologize for that. Doug, can you go back on that video, please? And there was an issue there. And we will, wait, let's go back and see where we are. Keep going back,
Ethical
Doug.
communities.
There we go.
An alternative that is circular, inclusive, frugal, and sustainable, whose net social, environmental, and economic impact is powerful and revolutionary. New innovative business models like ours can support disadvantaged communities to rise up and fight poverty by following a whole new different path. Musa cannot change the world by itself, but the people it does reach surely do. So as the wise old man used to say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single banana. Let's not just talk about change. Let's make it happen.
Okay,
Great.
so we're gonna start with some judges' questions. And Musa
Very good.
team, feel free to have any of you guys just hop in with
Yeah,
the
sure.
answers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you guys actually have products, specific products that the workers will develop out of the banana?
Yes,
Or
can I?
just growing the material that, okay.
Yeah, so we researched and found out that the fiber of banana peels and leaves, but also of the trunk, is actually very useful to produce some particular products. And at the moment, we are analyzing the possibility of producing sanitary products thanks to the fibers. For example, we can produce nappies, or for example, so banana leaves dressing is a very powerful tool for rural populations, but also construction materials and also soap, or
Is your business model to create the raw materials and sell the raw materials that people use to make the products, or do you have like a manufacturing facility where you transform the raw material into the products and sell the products?
The business model I would say it's vertically integrated, because we go from raw materials to manufacturing, and then we basically sell to retailers in urban areas. But we also have local point of sales in the community in which the manufacturing plant is, because this production, the production of this kinds of product does not require heavy machinery or particularly high amounts of energy. So it's something that is really frugal and doable in a rural environment. And we also believe that being physically present also with the manufacturing plant, let's call it like that, the workshop in the community, would foster the awareness and acceptability of the community.
How difficult is it to train somebody in how to take the raw material and turn it into a product?
Okay, so from our researches, the production process seemed quite simple. So we were planning on having an initial outsourced training period. So an outsourced trainer would come and train the people that would be involved. And then we believe that since the processes are not so complicated, the people themselves will be able in the future to train future workers in case we are able to scale up.
Thanks.
I mean, the production process is also according to the product itself, but the main issue is autonomy is what we want to achieve. So any way, it's kind of the training, it will not be too long, it will not be very difficult. Maybe there is also a little aspect of training the usage of those products. And that's also something that Musa is taking into account, because, for example, in the rural area, people maybe don't know how to use pets. We saw that, for example, in India, there was one problem of women not very able to using pets because they were not trained to. But that's also something that Musa is taking into account. But to produce them is something very feasible, and that it with bananas or with other actually plants is already occurring. So it is very easy and feasible.
How long does it take you to recover your initial investment when you set up a plant, let's just say?
Yeah, this is a good question. And I have to admit that being just at the idea stage of our project, we haven't carried out a thorough financial projection. So I honestly cannot answer this question. But we know that one of the main challenges for the scalability of our project is the fact that it's very capital intensive as a module. So yeah.
At first, I mean, the first investment is very high, but the scalability, I think, for example, the people that have trained in one country, moving to a different country, leaving, as I say, little entity that are autonomous, that will create profit over time. But as we say, being just in the initial idea, our financial projections are not so right. So we will not like to give you just a number, which is not right.
What does it cost what is the initial capital investment to set this up?
It's mainly in the infrastructure, since we have to still create, even though banana is a plant which is already present in many of the country that we want to be present in. There will still be the need to create banana plantation and also to have the machine, which are not super expensive machine, but maybe the transportations or even the implant.
Anyway, the idea is to start from one kind of product at the very beginning and to use the waste just to produce mulch for the plantation. So to reuse the waste, and let's say we assess that the local community we have targeted would benefit from the production of sanitary pads, then we'll start just by producing the sanitary pads. So to reduce the investment, the initial investment. But as I said, we did not make any calculations yet, so we cannot answer to this question.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Have you guys ever done a cycle before of planting and then producing these products? It sounds like you haven't.
Sorry, a cycle?
A cycle meaning just doing what you've envisioned here of getting planting, yeah.
Concept stage.
No, we are based on the research of people actually producing this product out of the material. So people doing cycle, but us personally have just get the knowledge about it, not practically done it yet. Yet we will see if we will be able to.
Yeah, it's just a theoretical idea at this stage.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question. I like the video. I like bananas, but you're really trying to do everything in the value chain. You're trying to do a lot, and you're trying to do a lot at a distance, based in Italy. And I want to ask, why don't you actually find one part of the value chain that you could actually really work with and do well, rather than trying to do the whole value chain?
Yeah, this is definitely a good strong point, and I believe that our inexperience led us to structure this model in this way. One example, one idea could be, for example, to just have supplying contracts with the local community, so the raw material production is outsourced, and do the same thing for the marketing. So we just take care of the production of the products themselves and the manufacturing, which is I think what is more important in order to also spill over a different kind of entrepreneurial mentality, because you put people in contact with operations and managerial decisions. So yeah, we will keep on working and definitely take under considerations these points.
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
I have a lot of questions, but I know we don't really have time to.
Right.
But I do have just one more question, and that I'll just ask and then be done. But is there much competition out there, for actually growing the bananas, the plants, and then I don't know, like converting the waste or whatever into the raw materials? Like, is this something that you're doing that's unique, like, or others
the
doing it?
idea came to us because we have been traveling when it was possible, and we actually saw that bananas are a very, very, very common crop in many of the poorest countries, and that this crop just grows along the street. And I had an experience in India in which some people were growing bananas to make banana leaf dressings. So from my experience and from what we researched, there is no strong competition on the cropping of the raw material itself in the rural areas, because we are targeting these kinds of villages that are very remote and that do not have access to such products that we would like to provide to them.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to engage both of you for a second while our judges go to judging. Okay, so thank you so much for that. I myself personally was very interested. A, I loved your video, but B, I'm also very interested in bananas and how they can be recycled or repurposed, because I think there's a need for that. And bananas exist in many of the nations that have poverty issues. And to repurpose bananas obviously can be a very helpful thing, especially if you employ the poor to get engaged in the collection of these and then in the repurposing or manufacturing of these. So I think that, well, I'm just looking here on one of the comments, green banana paper building is a circular industry in Guam or Micronesia. Somebody just came in that. Pakistan also produces a lot of bananas. Thank you, everyone. Come on in on the chat here if you got some ideas or questions. We love it. Colombia as well. So look, bananas exist, and it's one of my favorite foods, but that's just me. Can you tell us a little about your social entrepreneurship program at your university and how big it is and what's going on there? Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. So we are all students of management engineering, and we are in our master program. And among the different tracks that our university offers, there is one about social entrepreneurship. And we have in our university a research group called Tyresia. And what they study is especially related to social entrepreneurship, taxonomy, social impact measurement. And we are students of this track, and we are studying these topics. We have started this year, and yeah, we think it's very important. And our professors tell us it was an achievement for them to create a track among the more traditional managerial ones that are maybe industrial engineering or, I don't know, industry 4.0 and stuff like that, because it's important to raise awareness also about the social aspect of entrepreneurship and of development.
Well, yeah, I understand this. It's interesting to note, by the way, we have found that only about 5% of universities in the world have social entrepreneurship programs. They have entrepreneurship, but not social entrepreneurship. And that's one of our major missions, is to engage universities from around the world and helping them to set up and start social entrepreneurship programs and actually build the pipeline to get these programs to produce social ventures that can really help lift the livelihoods of the poor. So again, I want to applaud you and your university for engaging in this effort. Have either of you have either been traveled to any places where there is a lot of poverty?
Yeah. For example, I had the chance to spend some months in India and Kenya for volunteering projects. But also some other colleagues of mine may answer to this question too.
Yes, I lived in South Africa actually for 2 years, so I'm very happy to hear many of my connationals, and I had the possibility to go and actually be like a teacher of maths in the townships. So yeah, we had the possibility to like see around, and as I say, the main focus of our project is to create autonomous realities, and that's also, I guess, what we were able to realize going in these rural places, which are thousands of kilometers of horrible roads away from the cities. It is not possible to still be somehow linked or forced to be linked to the normal society, or to like the Western society, and from our travels, I guess we were able to create this project of Musa.
And how did you, what inspired you, just real quickly, and then we'll end it up here, but what inspired you with the banana? What was the aha moment you had?
I don't know. I was just thinking about my life experience because that's all I have, right? And so I tried to go back and think what was functioning well and surprised me during my volunteering experiences. And the banana leaf dressing project was, I think, a really cool project that I think could potentially help a lot of people. And from there, we then researched about the banana leaf dressing and found out that bananas actually have a huge potential in many other fields. So yeah, this was the haha moment, I guess.
That's the haha moment. Well, perfect. Thank you both so much. We very much appreciate you joining us. And I'd like Haley to introduce our next social venture. Haley.
Okay, so our next social venture, awesome job, guys, by the way, Musa. Really great job. So our next one is NutraSweet, and Jacqueline, Layton, Kaori, and Taylor are from the Community College of Kauai. And Denise, I'm sorry, Denise. So we are going to play their video now.
Hi, I'm Denise.
Hi, I'm Corey. Hi, I'm Jacelyn.
Hi, I'm Taylor. Our social venture aims to resolve three main challenges that communities across the globe encounter regularly. The first major challenge we will tackle is around food waste. Diverting this food waste into a useful consumable product will create a win-win situation for everyone. The second challenge is around job creation. Our third challenge is micronutrient deficiency. Micronutrient deficiencies in vitamin A, iron, zinc, and iodine affect the most amount of people across the globe. The World Health Organization estimates that more than 2 billion people suffer from micronutrient deficiencies, with pregnant women and children at the greatest risk of developing health complications from these deficiencies. Deficiencies in these four major micronutrients can lead to issues like child-developed immune systems or organs and brain damage, among other complications. These health issues can have negative downstream effects on a person's ability to independently take care of themselves and earn a livelihood. The unfortunate thing is that most of these health effects are preventable with simple supplements.
Our venture is to create an affordable candy that is fun to eat and full of nutrients. Through this product, we can meet the needs of our three main areas of concern in the following ways. We will focus on diverting some of the food waste stream by establishing contracts with local farmers and grocery stores to purchase any of their surplus, imperfect, or nearly expired goods at discounted rates. The entire production and distribution of our product will provide stable and rewarding jobs, in addition to supporting jobs of the farming community. The model is scalable, though, and can be applied to any geography with interchangeable ingredients based on the local produce availability. Our candy will use natural resources that are abundant in Hawaii that are also rich with our target nutrients: banana, mango, avocados, pineapple, seaweed, spinach, kalo, papaya, lilikoi, guava, kiwi, and coconut water. The intent is that by creating a low-cost, nutritious candy that doubles as a vitamin supplement, nutrition will be more accessible and appealing to people, especially children and pregnant women in low-income communities.
Our intent is to focus on distributing to locations of higher need, mainly to developing countries where micronutrient deficiency runs rampant. Thus, our venture will prioritize access to these demographics.
Once production is established in Hawaii, though, the plan is to produce enough to serve millions of people around the world. Success for our social venture means that individuals across the globe, especially those in poverty, who do not have access to basic nutritional needs, no longer live with micronutrient deficiencies and its associated health defects.
Wonderful. Okay, who do we have here on team from Hawaii? Leighton, are you the only one from NutraSuite? Is there anyone else?
Mark, the rest
you're
of them are on there. You just can't see because you need to go into gallery view.
I gotcha. Okay, understood. That's my problem. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we'd like to have questions here from the judges.
What problem does your vitamin or whatever your supplement address that other supplements do not address?
Yeah, the primary one I would say is like it's solving multiple problems in one product. There's the issue of food waste, and there's so much within the food waste stream that is it's not being captured right now. And so, in particular, in Hawaii, we have all these tropical fruits and vegetables, and like a year-long growing climate. And so it's just really unfortunate that all of it is currently going to waste. And so being able to capture that and then create another product that captures all those nutrients and then can be distributed, it seems like a win-win for all parties involved.
Thank you.
Can I ask, how far is this just conceptual, or how far have you come? Have you tested it? Have you done any prototypes?
So far, this is all just a concept right now, but we're looking into taking it further from here.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I understand the inputs are discounted because you're taking imperfect products, but have you ever manufactured this, and do you have any prototypes, and what would the cost be for that?
No, we haven't manufactured anything yet. We're just, in the concept. We have lots of, in Hawaii, we do lots of farmers markets, and there's lots of, farmers here. That's one of the main sources that we were looking at, besides big box grocery stores. We're trying to stimulate our local economy, especially because of COVID. That was also one of our concerns. Hawaii has shut down because of it. One of our biggest sources of income in Hawaii is tourism. And unfortunately, that's not happening right now because of COVID. And so we were trying to hope to stimulate, our local farmers and, our community by involving them in this process, by, buying from them and trying to stick, to more locally grown stuff. But yeah, it's all conceptual, just a concept right now.
And then, given that these, I guess this candy or gummies or what you're calling it, are you just going to give it away to these people that are malnourished? I mean, who's going to buy this? I guess I don't understand from when you get these products that are imperfect, you make it, and then you're giving it away to super malnourished people. But how is this going to be self-sustainable, this business?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that we need to be working out. I think the idea was not necessarily to just give it away. We were aiming to distribute to larger organizations, NGOs or hospitals, et cetera, and then have them handle distribution itself. And so we would create partnerships with them. So the idea is that they can perhaps purchase them at at cost, and within our own system, we're aiming to really reduce our own overhead to make this as little as possible. I mean, within we have like a back of envelope calculations, and there's like the initial startup, yes, definitely have to overcome that. But then operating costs itself, it's pretty straightforward. Like we're capturing the food waste. So a lot of this is we're expecting it to either be free or severely discounted. So the costs are primarily going to come from just running our operations and then distributing them. So we imagine that we can keep the costs down pretty low.
Okay.
I can add to that too. We are able to offer it at a lower price than the big pharma companies, and we kind of had an idea to, sell to the low income communities at a lower price. Doing that, the Japanese.
And so if I get it right, you're looking at least initially producing in Hawaii, but which markets are you looking at to sell this product in?
Yeah, the distribution will definitely be a challenge considering we're so isolated here in Hawaii. But I mean, the communities that we feel were greatest in need were those suffering from micronutrient deficiencies right now. So this is like heading into actually a lot of Central and the Middle East to start.
Okay, I'm going to thank you all very much for that. I certainly would, by the way, venture that there are lots of nations that are food insecure that could very much benefit from products that the poor can afford, right? That can provide them with some vitamin supplementation. Given your location, you may also want to look at the Philippines, which is in your a little bit farther away, but certainly they do have food insecurity issues. So I'd like you to kind of think about that. I'm going to ask our judges to start judging, and I'm just going to ask a few questions here of our students from Hawaii. First of all, I just want to say how much I appreciate your instructor, Dirk, who is just an amazing guy and an amazing instructor and has really engaged several teams from Hawaii in EPIC. And my congratulations to him and his efforts. In that context, though, from Hawaii, I noticed that some of the social ventures proposals that we received do cite a lot of poverty in Hawaii. And I think most of us think of Hawaii as everybody's rich there. And I'd like you to kind of share with us what you've seen in terms of poverty in Hawaii.
Well, there's actually,
go ahead.
There's actually a lot of poverty in Hawaii that people don't see. Like, I'm sure if you think about going to Honolulu, especially, you're thinking about, the tropical like beaches and stuff. But if you go to Honolulu and you actually pay attention, there's lots of homeless. That's one of our biggest problem is homeless people.
And how is Hawaii addressing, for example, homelessness? Are these people just, I presume, sleeping? I mean, it's a pretty warm climate. So essentially, I guess that's how Hawaii's addressing it, or?
Yeah, well, luckily it's a warm climate. It's not like anywhere else where it gets extremely cold. So I wouldn't say that they're lucky, but that's definitely, not something that they have to worry about. And especially with COVID happening, I know on Kauai, they are designating certain beaches for the homeless to be right now, just so that we can make sure that, they are socially distanced and safe. I'm not sure about what the other islands are doing because everybody is a little bit different right now. We're not all totally in agreement on what's happening, with everything, but it is definitely very expensive to live here and to buy groceries even. I'm not sure what all of you are used to, but it's like $8-9 for a gallon of milk. I've gone to the mainland, multiple times, and there's like $1, $2. So it's definitely a big price difference.
Wow. Yeah, that's enlightening. $8 or $9 for a gallon of milk. You're right. We're paying a lot less than that here. So living costs are much more there for sure. I think the approach that Dirk is taking is right on in connection with coming up with ideas for social ventures that can provide jobs here for a lot of folks, especially students that are graduating from the program, to help them set up businesses that can focus on social impact. So I do appreciate that. All right, great. Our judges have finalized this. I want to thank you both, all of your team here, for participating, and again for what you're doing. I'm going to ask Haley to introduce our next social venture. Haley.
Okay, so thank you guys. Awesome job from NutraSweet in Hawaii. I think it's safe to say we all learned a lot about what's going on. So Our next team is Sovenga Wines, and it is Albert and Raymond from University of Limpopo in South Africa. So Sovenga Wines.
And we're going to roll that video if we could.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Makoko Raymond in accounting science. I'm here with my partner, Albert Homo. I will present to you this awesome wine called Sovenga. We decided to come up with this idea during coronavirus lockdown, where we realized that we can do something to change people's life. So by doing that, we started this wine company from the scratch. And we decided that, okay, since in our country there's high unemployment rate, we believe that if you can do something that can change people's life, this will mean a lot and can touch more people, most of the people's life, since we are running in a country where the unemployment is extremely high. So we believe by doing this will have an impact in the young Black people who are out there sitting with qualification without doing anything. So we believe that this Sovenga wine can change their life. I'll hand it over to my partner.
Thank you once again. Sovenga wine is naturally fermented from 100% orange juice. Okay, we have made different flavors where we have sweet orange Sovenga wine, and where we have French oak orange wine, and where we have minty orange wine. Okay, we are looking forward to be supported from different organizations, agencies, people who can actually to help us grow with the making of wine. We wanna be industrial. We wanna build a big firm for wine distillery, where we can hire more youth to reduce unemployment rate. Okay. Making Sovenga wine actually is an idea that we've came about to reduce unemployment, to show people that anything is possible, to encourage the youth to stop being job seekers. Actually, with the idea, you can change the nation. That's why we made this. We risked our life, we risked our finances, and so on, just to make something for the nation, just to make something for the world.
Thank you.
Great. Well, we certainly would appreciate if you could hand out samples of that to everybody here as part of EPIC. I do want to say here before we get the judges back here to ask some questions, and I'm sure they're going to ask for free samples. One of the things that occurs to me is this is orange, made from oranges, which are high in vitamin C. And of course, vitamin C is one of those major vitamins that folks need, especially if they're food insecure. So I'm now going to open this up to judges. Mike, you want to pop a question?
Yeah. One of my favorite things, a good glass of wine. I haven't tried orange wine, but it sounds interesting. Yeah, no, I just wanted to understand a little bit more about the impact that you're planning on having on, particularly on low-income people. You talk about employment and employing more people. But beyond that, what sort of impact do you see your business having on poverty, on low-income people?
Okay, no, thank you. Our business for now, we have just started it recently. So by us providing the job opportunity, I'm currently based in a more remote areas where a lot of people are unemployed and they are involved in violence, they're involved in drugs. So we decided that if we can bring something that can keep people busy, we know that, okay, instead of them spending most of their time in smoking, in being involved in gender-based violence, they'll now have time to go to work and now see that, okay, Regardless of the color, of the race, of where you come from, it's still possible. Since I and my partner, we just took every cent that we had and make sure that okay, want to bring this wine into existence. So by creating an industrialized farm or a working environment for people, that will definitely change their behavior. That will definitely bring the mindset to them that okay, it's possible. Instead of us going out committing violence or doing something that will end up in jail, we can start something for ourselves, regardless of the place that we come from. So that's the impact that I believe these Sobenga wines that we have, it's already having in people. Even now, it's being welcomed by more than 3,000 on social media, acknowledging us, thanking us of the good work that we have done, regardless of where we come from.
Thank you.
Very good. Julie, Oran, do you have a question or two that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, do you have customers or people buying this wine that you make?
Yes, currently we are having the high demand. That is why we are still waiting to provide with more wines to the public, because the one that we have just did, we're just having limited capital to do it. So we're afraid to put them on the market, but already we're receiving orders. People are calling us, when are you going to provide the wine to us? And another thing, we've just approached one of the big labs to assist us with the accreditation to sell alcohol. So they said they are working on them. So after getting the accreditation, we'll be able to make our wine available to the people.
And is there any special process that's specific to South Africa that's required, or can any orange be used to make this drinkable wine that people want to buy?
Yes, definitely. We've made research and find that okay, these Sobenga wines of ours, it will be the first established wine in the industry, since we don't have any wine existing that is being made out of oranges. We only have gins and also whiskeys. But for wines, even when we check our direct competitors and our indirect competitors, we haven't yet found one that they are doing wines with oranges and purely fermenting them from scratch.
So you have not created an orange wine yet, or you?
We did. This is our orange wine. So we have them here. Here they are.
So they actually do have prototypes, and they're actually doing some revenue. They're selling some, and presumably they are providing jobs for a lot of folks in that area who need jobs based upon the revenues. But it seems that they obviously need to scale what they're doing. Rowan, do you have a question?
No, I mean, I'd like to try it at some point, but it's interesting.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask the judges to engage in judging now, and I would like to ask Albert to answer a few questions. Albert, number one, I just want to say that I really, do like what you're doing there. I think the major thing that you're doing is creating, number one, the ability to demonstrate to people and community members, especially young men, that if they were to form a business, there's a lot of possibilities. In your case, your social impact is obviously employing the poor. And if this thing were to scale, we at the foundation would love to see you kind of look at this in terms of a methodology or a process that can go forward, where not only would you be employing the poor as you open more and more of these what I'll call micro manufacturing facilities for your wine, but it would be good to give your workers some equity in the company as well. One of the big problems we find is that when people start companies and they employ the poor, they just pay the minimum wage or small wages and don't give them any equity in the company. And the foundation is focused on helping to create more distributive incomes, not only in terms of improving wages, but also in terms of sharing some of the equity with the people who actually, or the workers who actually make the company. So I just want to plant that seed with you. But that said, can you talk a little bit more about the poverty where you are, what it's like, what's going on, and how poverty is impacting young men and young women?
Oh, definitely. This side of I'm from a remote province called Limpopo. It's one of the disadvantaged provinces in South Africa. we have the high number of people who are unemployed. And if you go around, as even I'm speaking now, I'm also a student of University of Limpopo. The allowances for students were being cut off, where now it was also even difficult to get the data, to get even into the campus, because what they're saying, there are a lot of restrictions now, which we believe that most of us youth, or especially black, because our university is mostly dominated, I would say 99% is black people who are there. So the poverty is extremely high here. So we believe through our open and through the execution and assistance from the world agencies and organizations, we can be able to eliminate that poverty from them, because by us providing job to them, it means they'll be able to have money to go buy whatever they want. They'll be able to have a little cash that they will also go out and ensure that, okay, they also enjoy with other people and get out of that mind of violence and also poverty. So, and when it comes to the equity, well, I'm studying accounting science. I understand the fundamental of keeping the employees in the business. I know how significant it is to pay your employees adequate salaries, because it's going to boost their morale, it's going to motivate them, it's going to actually encourage them to do more. So for us, we are not currently focusing on profit maximization. We are focusing on inspiring youth. We are focusing on ensuring that we show to the other black child who are also from the rural areas as us, who things was not easy when we grow up, to tell them and show them that, okay, they can move out from that cycle of poverty. They can do something by themselves. So that's what is our plan for now, and we're currently busy looking for sponsors, applying day in and day out, and there are also some who are promising, but we are hoping that everything can get well.
Very good. I think we're all set. Are we all? I believe we're all set on this, and I want to thank.
We're all set.
Thank you both. Okay, perfect. What you're doing, I think I think there's a unique kind of niche here for orange, because oranges do grow in many environments here, especially in warm weather. And I don't think very many people are tapping into that. So again, and of course, the vitamin C aspect of this is also important with folks who are food insecure. So I want to thank you both for participating in this. And I want to move on to I ask Haley to introduce our next social venture. Thank you both.
Thank
you. Haley.
Okay, so thank you guys so much, Sylvania Wine. So up next we have Tierra Grata, and that is Jennifer from Colombia. So we are going to cue your video now, Tierra Grata.
Es de noche en un pueblo de Colombia y en una familia rural los niños hacen la tarea bajo una vela porque otra vez se les fue la luz. Sandra, su mamá, aprovecha la oscuridad para por fin bañarse en el patio, ya que como no tienen baño, se siente observada por los hombres en el día, mientras el abuelo cuenta que desde que era niño está esperando que pongan agua potable en el pueblo. ¿Reconoces esta historia? Es porque en Colombia 3 de cada 10 personas no tienen satisfechos sus servicios básicos. Por eso, en Tierra Grata desarrollamos alternativas para la falta de servicios de agua, energía y saneamiento a través de tecnologías sociales. Trabajamos con baños secos, postes solares y filtros de agua. Estas son entregadas a la comunidad a través de un proceso de intervención social. Para cambiar las historias de muchas familias rurales del país, únete a nosotros. Ingresa a nuestra página web y entérate cómo puedes participar.
Okay, Jennifer, I'm gonna have the judges come on and ask you some stuff.
Sure.
Judges, how about a question or two here, judges?
Yeah, I really like but I'd like to understand a little bit what you're actually doing. Are you sort of selling these home solutions to low-income people? Are you financing them? Are you what are you actually doing? Are you helping them build the houses and the facilities they need? What is your business actually doing?
Well, what Teradata does is to provide the solution for the communities in terms of water, energy, and sanitation, and then like we are offering the solution as a credit. So them they to $15, and they take like 2 to maximum 2 years and a half to pay the whole solution, the complete the value of the solution. That's what we are doing. Like we first gave them the solution, and then they start paying by installments.
And there's a solution as a full package with
No.
the energy, or is it one thing at a time?
Yeah, it's one thing at a time. It depends on the necessity of the solution. So for example, in some regions we are working on with energy because they don't have access to energy, so then we focus on energy. In others they don't have access to water and sanitation, so we focus on that. Or actually the community, if they don't have access to any of the three solutions, so then they prioritize what is the line or what is the solution which they want to start. So they can choose, okay, let's have the filter, and they start paying the filter, or okay, we would like to work with the bathroom first, and then we start paying the bathroom, like this.
So do you actually offer, you develop the solutions yourself, or are you connecting them to other solutions in the marketplace?
Well, for energy and water, we are connecting with other solutions. Like our providers gave us the solution with a really, really low price, so then we can sell to the communities. But the bathroom is our solution, like the one is like more us. We develop, like we do the design and like the prototype and everything is, and then we just like have a provider that can build the walls and everything. Yeah, the others is a system solution, but actually like to choose which solution we are going to start selling to the communities, we have like 1 year just with the co-creation spaces where we together with the community decide which are the best solution with them, like aligned to their necessity, to their dreams, and to their aspirations. So the filter is not the one that we just saw on the market, but it's like it's a process for them to choose which is the best for them.
And have you done this yet? I mean, have you sold this anywhere, this solution?
Yeah, we have already sell around more than 800 solutions.
That's great.
We have been working in some years, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to ask, because of time here, I'm going to ask the judges to start judging while I ask Jennifer a few questions. Jennifer, if I could trouble you, can you tell us about what's going on where you are in Colombia, and what does poverty look like in Colombia?
Well, here in Colombia, in terms of social entrepreneurship, we have like good entrepreneurships. The social sector is more developed every time. But for example, in my university, we don't have social entrepreneurship as a class, but just the traditional entrepreneurship. Actually, I'm studying international business, so like working on social entrepreneurship as international, it's kind of different from them, but I decided to do it like this. And yeah, well, Colombia is passing through this process after the peace agreement. So actually we are working as with Tierra Grata in many communities that used to be like conflict zones, like conflict regions. And during the conflict, we didn't know what was happening there. And after the conflict, so we realized that there is people without energy, without sanitation, without water. And also it becomes one of our motivation to start providing the solution for those communities. And the results have been really, really good because people are willing to pay, even if they are like really, really poor, because rural areas are really poor in Colombia too. But they are willing to pay, they have the commitment to get back the solution, because also they know that once they pay, for example, they finish to pay a solar lamp, then new solar lamp we can
Okay, we just lost your sound. Oh, there you go. Good, Jennifer. Go ahead. You were just muted for a second. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they are really engaged with the solution, and they also become our resellers that we call the water guardians or the light guardians. So then they are the ones who start selling the same products in their own communities. So it has been a really good project together with the rural communities here.
Wonderful. I'm going to, by the way, just suggest, because next year we will be expanding our reach to South American universities. Like your own universities, we have found that maybe only 5% of them, of these universities, have social entrepreneurship programs. And again, the role of the foundation is to help to get universities engaged in starting social entrepreneurship programs to do the kind of things just as you're doing. So we really appreciate your work, and we thank you so much for your presentation. I now would like to ask, thank you so much. I now like to ask Haley to introduce our last social venture. Haley.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tierra Grata. That was awesome. So our last social venture is Vegan Authentic Farm, and that is Nguako from South Africa.
And we'd like to roll that video if we could.
Good day. My name is Mukhalakhat Tladi. I am the co-founder of Authentic Farms. Authentic Farms is a hydroponic farming business that was
we need a film on,
in
Haley.
2018. Grow leaf vegetables
Haley,
and herbs
you don't have
without
that
using
film, the
any
video.
soil, and we use over 80% less water compared to conventional farming. We grow our food closer to consumption, meaning we cut down on transportation costs, making food more affordable, and also cutting down on carbon emissions. South Africa is a very dry country with only 464 millimeters annual rainfall compared to the global average of 860 millimeters. We are almost 50% below the global average. The farming sector is also dominated by elderly individuals, with the average age of farmers being at 65 years old. This means the South African farming sector is both aging and suffering natural resource availability. Advanced farming methods such as hydroponics and aeroponics, which require less physical labor and focuses on system management, young technologically skilled youth to the sector. This will address unemployment within the country while ensuring that the food security of the country is ensured despite the water crisis. Upon the inception of the idea in 2018, we started self-studying the concept, and in early 2019, we started running experimental crops. This gave us an idea of what to expect depending on our climate conditions and seasons. In late April of 2019, we increased the scale of the prototype from 18 crops to 360 crops, which we managed to sell to our neighbors and locals, though not consistently due to limited supply. The sales, however, gave us an idea of the cost of our inputs and the expected returns. With this data, we could easily draw our financial projections from reliable data. Hydroponics is not just a high-yield method of farm machinery, no herbicides and limited pesticides. It does not require the continuous destruction of plants and animals' natural habitats, since it uses less space and can be done vertically.
Very good. Okay, I'm going to invite the judges here to ask questions.
What is Hi, I love your solution. So what is it that makes your solution unique? Your business.
Okay, so hydroponics is not yet that popular in South Africa. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Okay.
Yes,
okay,
you can.
sorry.
Very
okay.
good.
So hydroponics is not really yet that popular in South Africa, and we have a very serious of water availability. So most of our small scale farmers are actually suffering within the industry, and their suffering actually affects the entire people who actually depend on the industry, such as the people that they employ. So what we are actually aiming to do is that we want to improve the way that they farm in such a way that they can be able to increase their revenues, and then in such a way that they can actually be able to increase the the salaries of their employees too.
Other questions? Mike or
yeah, I
Ron,
really
go
like
ahead.
your solution. Just I want to understand a little bit the business model. So is it that you're selling? Are you selling the sort of the technologies to farmers? Are you employing farmers in the business and selling the produce? What's the actual sort of revenue stream and how are you sort of workforce and pulling that all together?
So we have multiple revenue streams. So the initial one that we have so far managed to exploit to a reasonable amount is the crop production part, where we managed to grow the vegetables as we have shown with the pictures. So our second revenue stream is actually to focus on the system manufacturing the hydroponic system and actually selling them to farmers. So as I've already specified that the technology is not yet that popular with our farmers. So the aim is actually to first introduce them to it so that they can be able to know what it is, how it works, even if it means that we should establish some sort of prototypes on their farms so that they can actually see how it works and get the overall idea of it and actually be able to understand how it saves them on cost. And then after they get the idea of that, then maybe they can have the option of wanting the systems established on their farms. But our current basic main revenue stream is actually crop production. So we are doing crop production ourselves, and then what we want to do is to also to make sure that other farmers are established within the industry so that they can actually be able to be consistent with supplying the market.
Very nice, Mike.
Very good. Rowan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, is it easy for you guys to teach and have other farmers do this exact same process that you're doing?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
How hard is it for you guys to teach other farmers to do this?
Okay, the technology is very basic because it's basically we just take in what normally happens on the ground, and then we convert them in such a way that we actually exclude the ground so that we can actually eliminate everything that is associated with the ground, be it diseases, herbs that need a lot of labor and everything like that. So it's easier to teach them because we just actually explain to them what basically happens in the ground when they put fertilizers in the ground, how their plants access the fertilizers in their ground, and then we explain to them how that actually works in hydroponics, and then how does the elimination of soil actually makes a difference when it comes to hydroponics versus growing on the soil.
Okay, that's good.
So I'm going to let the judges start judging while I'll have a little conversation here. If I could ask you a few more questions. I personally, I do like what you've done here. It looks like it's a small footprint that can be utilized by farmers or by individuals, right, that have small land holdings. I think this also lends itself to potentially some social franchising because an individual can go out and set these up and then come back and service them and continue to teach individuals as this thing grows. Obviously, the whole problem with lack of water and lack of other types of nutrients to enable vegetables to grow is a reality in these areas. And your ability to do this, I think, has a good value added. You're cutting costs and you are increasing outcomes here. Given that growing things in harsh environments is again a challenge. I'd like to ask you, what inspired you here to develop this technology? What was the inspiration, the aha moment again, as I say?
Okay, sorry, I have my partner also here, so I was hoping you would like to go through. So we were always interested in farming, which includes both crops and livestock. But when we wanted to focus on livestock initially, but so we were not entirely really happy with how the soil farming is being done. What we have noticed is that most young people in South Africa, despite being unemployed, they are not really interested in taking employment in farming, mostly because they see it as some form of hard labor, especially having to deal with soil under sunlight throughout the whole day. And we also realized that farming is not that accessible to disabled people, especially people who are wheelchair bound. So we thought that something that could actually be done on a proper ground, be it a paved ground of some sort, can actually be easily accessible to people who are wheelchair bound. We can actually be able to raise the growing system to whatever level so that even a person that is on a wheelchair bound can actually be able to work on the systems without having to bend down or try to reach up. So that's why we actually focused on the technology, also to attract young people into the farming industry.
Very good. And well, I'm waiting to see if the judges are complete and Haley gives me a thumbs up on this. I just want to ask you one more question. Can you describe poverty again, where you live and the community, and what's poverty is like, and how much poverty there is?
Okay. I think what we are mostly dealing with, I would say, is both the unemployment, as already mentioned by some of the people who are presenting from South Africa. But what we are also realizing is that even with the employed people, their salary is not really that reasonable. So that is one thing that is actually affecting us, that everyone, even the employed, they're actually living at below the average annual incomes. So we thought that maybe this would be a great strategy, that even specifically the people in the farming industries, they may be able to have their salaries increased if their bosses or employers can actually realize an increase in turnover, especially if they realize they need to eliminate, to reduce the use of pesticides and the amount of labor that they would actually need to pay for things like de-weeding and everything like that. So they can convert, they can diverge that money into actually increasing the salaries of their employees, and tend to be better farmers because of using this technology. Then it means that they can easily expand and be able to increase the workforce and therefore generating more employment for people.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank you so much for your presentation. And I very much appreciate what you're doing. And I certainly want to encourage you to keep it going, because I think you're onto something. All right. I'd like to just talk very briefly here. And while the judges are finalizing, to talk to you all about a little bit about what the Social Ventures Foundation is up to and where we're going next year. Later next year, we will be introducing Poverty Watch, a data site that will be a gateway for all of the data sets that exist in the world. And the reason that we're looking at doing this is because the data sets related to poverty really are housed at different types of international development agencies. So we want to be, povertywatch.org will be a gateway for data sets that will help to essentially allow folks to look at the challenges that exist in their communities based upon being able to look at these data sets, come up with the problems, and then go back and troubles and actually developments with social venture teams within their colleges and universities. This will be an excellent tool for the social entrepreneur startup individual everywhere. So we want to again alert you that this is going to be developed later next year as part of the foundation. Later next year, we will also be offering the EPIC as an online incubator for colleges that want to institute a social entrepreneurship program at minimal cost and overhead. And I do want to share with you, as I've said before, is that only a very small number of colleges actually have social entrepreneurship programs, and the foundation wants to help to encourage that. More details on this will be available next year as well. So it looks like Haley has the winners and in the envelopes in her hand. which I think she's going to simulate because I'm not sure she actually has envelopes. But Haley, if you could tell us who the third place winner is. And I'm going to ask if we could have, if Doug's on board, if he can do a drum roll. I'm not sure if Doug's got that drum roll.
Okay. I'm opening my envelope that I don't have. So guys, in third place, congratulations to Elena, Elisa, Daniel, Giacomo from Politecnico di Milano. Musa, third place. Congrats, guys.
Congratulations. Yeah, thank you, guys. The
Thank
third
you.
place.
Thank you.
Well, the third place winner will receive $250 in scholarships to the Entrepreneurs Future Network. The Entrepreneurs Future Network will help you both, all of your team, to develop your social venture as you go forward. So we want to thank you and congratulate you as our third place winners here for Epic 2020. Congratulations. Haley, thank you so much. Haley, can you tell us who our second place winner is? And can we have that drum roll as she simulates the envelope opening? Doug, if you would.
This is the worst envelope simulation ever. Second place is Jennifer from Colombia, Tierra Grata. Congratulations.
Can we see your team? Tierra, are you on board?
Thank you so much. Thank you for this great opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. We appreciate what you've done. The second place winner will receive $500 and a full scholarship to the Entrepreneurs Future Network. Again, that network will help you to develop your program and get it to the next stage. So thank you so much for participating. I'd like to move on. And Haley, ready for this? Can you tell us who the first place winner is as we get Doug to do the drum roll? And Haley, you got that envelope open?
Yes, I have my envelope open. First place, Guaco from South Africa. Congratulations, Vegan Authentic.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations. You guys on board, Vegathentic. Come on here for a sec.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. We can't say enough about your project, and obviously the judges liked it too. So we have based upon the fact that you're our first place winner, we want to say that number one, you will receive $1,000 and adoption papers by the Social Ventures Foundation. What we mean about adoption is that the Social Ventures Foundation will take you on and provide you with free consultation and advice from myself and from our judges. And each of our judges together have over 200 years of experience in social venturing, in startups, and in franchising as well as investments. So as our adoptive social venture, we will promise to take you to the next level and the next stage of your enterprise. Stay tuned for that. We will be in touch with you to help you with that. So with that all said, I want to thank everyone for attending Epic 2020. And I want to thank all of our staff and our judges and our partners and of course, our sponsors. We couldn't have done this without you. We want to wish you and your families a safe holiday and a safe New Year. And I want to close this event with a quote from the first president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. Quote, as long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality exists in our world, none of us can truly rest. Think about that quote, and I want to thank you again for your participation. This concludes Epic 2020. Go in peace and be a change maker to this world. Thank you.
Guys, next time.
everybody. We got pictures. Let's get everybody on. Open it up. Let me see their faces, Haley. Wave goodbye, everybody. Thank you all. Give me a big wave, everyone. Open up your faces.
Congratulations, everyone, and thank you for everyone who participated.
Open up. Let me see faces. Yes, good. Keith, thank you. Okay, concludes. And sign off.
Okay.